Hey everybody, how's everyone doing tonight? Tonight is day 16 already, day 16 of the 90-day Facebook Live challenge, and we're already up to day 2 of 2019. I want to thank my wife for reminding me today that it is now 20 years since 1999. I don't know about you, but I can no longer party like it's 1999, and I'm feeling old. I'm feeling tired sometimes, but I'm also feeling excited and invigorated for different things. But man, 20 years ago it was 1999. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Where has the time gone? Well, as we go into 2019 this year, I am really looking forward to putting myself out there and looking for a different type of speaking audience, a different type of opportunity to share my message, to help leaders develop their alignment, to help organizations develop their culture, to help groups of all sizes figure out what they can do to be better, to take one step farther than what they have previously done. And it's both invigorating and exhausting at the same time, to put yourself out there, to get rejected, to bounce back, and to keep making those same steps over and over, trying to do something different from what you've done in the past. And it got me thinking today about the whole concept of where I came up with the idea of alignment and what it really means in terms of energy for people and energy for organizations. So I want you to think back. I want you to think about a time that you worked for somebody who just drained the life out of you. That every day felt like a week, every week felt like a month, and every month felt like a year. Remember those feelings that you just didn't want to get out of bed in the morning because going to work for this person or with this person just sapped the very life out of you. It just drained you of all of your energy. And have you ever really thought about why? Have you ever really thought about why it is that working for some people is so draining, but working for other people is so exciting that you can't wait to get out of bed and go be with those individuals that breathe life into your soul, that are those lamplighters that show the way for what you want to do with the world? Well, there's a simple kind of metaphor that I came across years ago that really shows what happens when that energy drains us, where I came up with the concept of alignment in the first place. And it's simple. It comes from, of all things, Newton's cradle. Remember this from when you were a kid? Everyone, including my nephew Landon, loves to play with these. Something mesmerizing about watching the energy just transform between ball to ball throughout this, and watch energy get transferred between where it enters and exits, and it just re-engages time and time again. It's only friction that slows it down. But what happens if during those times when you have the most energy, somebody does something to cause misalignment and bring chaos to the whole system? All of a sudden, energy is not transferred anymore. That misalignment brings everything to a complete stop. I remember when I was a kid and I was first found my uncle's Newton's cradle, I was fascinated by how that energy was transferred. And years later, as I got into the working world, I realized that that was a perfect metaphor for what it's like to work with people in organizations. And I remember very vividly one example that really brought this to life. It was mid-1990s. I was going to grad school for the first time at LaRoche College in Pittsburgh, and I was trying to get a master's in human resource management. And I took a new job. I left a small specialty retailer and went to work for one of the big box department stores that everyone wanted to work for. It was the place to be in Pittsburgh. It was a great place to work, or so they said. I was maybe 3 weeks into my second semester, and I got a call from my boss as I was driving to class. He paged me actually, and I had to pull over to a payphone and call him back, and he asked me where I was. Now, I had been at work since 5 o'clock in the morning, and at this point it was probably about 6 p.m., and it was the one day a week that I left early, so I could go to class, and I was trying to better myself. I really wanted that master's in human resource management. And when I called him back, I remember his words to me. I don't think this is the right time for you to be doing something so selfish as trying to get an education. Ouch. Ouch. Have you ever had those moments in life when all of a sudden the energy was just drained from your soul? Because as an organization, this company preached employee development. They did everything they could to put forth this persona of wanting people to be better, of wanting to build relationships, of clienteling, it was all supposed to be about the reciprocity between individual relationships. And if I do something great for you, you're going to do something great for me. And in that relationship, in that bond is where we're going to get the energy. But in that moment when it wasn't the right time for me to be trying to get an education to better myself, that I realized I was never going to be happy there because there was extreme misalignment. In that moment, I might have felt as I was driving to class that night, the energy being transferred back and forth from everything that was happening at work, but that one moment, it all just came crashing to a stop. It just died in that one moment. Do you recognize the times in your life, in your career, when you have been that person that just brought everyone down? That you might have intended to do something exceptionally great. You might have intended to do something good. But unfortunately, what you did backfired and you didn't even realize it. We talked before a little bit about in between those moments where we think we're doing good and we actually do well, in those moments lie the difference between our intentions and our actions. And that gap is the misalignment that sucks the life out of organizations and relationships. And all too often we're blind to those times when we are the ones that suck the life out of relationships we have with other people. That we're the ones that make that call, that ask someone to do something that's completely counterproductive to the relationship. That we're the ones that drive someone away, whether it be an employee, a customer, a friend, a spouse, or a relative. There are times that we do things we're not proud of, that we're the ones that bring chaos into the world unnecessarily. The more that we align what we do with what we say and what we value, that we do the things that we preach the things that we believe, and we believe the things that we do. When those things are all aligned, we have energy, and energy is transferred, and it's only slowed down by the friction of time. What can you do to help bring yourself to a situation where you add less misalignment into relationships and you focus on the alignment that you can add? That you focus on how do you help somebody get better? And that's the most important thing I think we can do in life. So the next time that you're in a relationship and all of a sudden you feel that power, that energy that you thought was being transferred is just being sucked right out of the relationship, ask yourself, is it you? Is it them? Is it something you can live with? Or is it something you can fix? Because nobody deserves to be in a relationship that sucks the life out of you. Try to bring alignment to everything you do. The more that you align what you do with what you say and who you are, the more positive your life is going to be, the more effective you're going to become, and the more in demand you're going to be. Because people are going to want to be surrounded by those that help others get better. Remember, one of the greatest things we can do is to be the tide that raises all ships, not the tide that sinks them. And it's only through alignment that we can add that value. So have a great night, everyone. And tomorrow, in those small moments when you feel the life getting sucked out of you, pay attention. What are you doing that maybe you're the one causing misalignment or allowing someone to cause misalignment in your life? Have a great night, everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow.